A firestorm erupted on daytime television, and it all happened on The View. This wasn't just another celebrity interview. This was a full-blown showdown that rattled Hollywood, shook daytime TV, and left millions of viewers stunned in silence. What was meant to be a routine promotional appearance quickly spiraled into chaos, and the world hasn't stopped talking since. Before we dive into the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters, and we want to know, did Joy go too far, or did Mark finally put her in her place? Now, let's get back to the story. Hollywood's tough guy, Mark Wahlberg, walked onto the set with his trademark Boston swagger, a navy suit, and a polite smile. He thought he was stepping into a friendly conversation about his new film, but what he found waiting for him was an ambush sharper than any movie script could deliver. The audience clapped and cheered as he greeted Whoopi, Sunny, and Sarah with warmth. But when his eyes landed on Joy Behar, her grin carried a bite that everyone watching could feel. Joy opened with that familiar sweet tone. "Welcome back to The View." But the glint in her eye told a different story. We're joined today by actor and producer Mark Wahlberg, here to promote his latest film. The pause after latest film was long enough to cut the air like a blade. Mark thanked her politely, his smile steady, but already the tension was mounting. Then came the jab. Joy leaned in, smirking, and asked with a hint of sarcasm, "Would you call yourself an accomplished actor?" The audience chuckled nervously. Mark, caught slightly off guard, stayed calm. "I've worked hard, and I'm proud of the projects I've been part of." His response was steady, professional, even kind, but Joy's laugh, loud, dismissive, and cruel, erupted across the studio like a slap in the face. "Hard work," she sneered. "Or just playing the same angry Boston guy in every movie? Because honestly, if you've seen one Mark Wahlberg performance, you've seen them all." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Even Whoopi shifted in her chair, visibly uneasy. Mark's jaw clenched, but his tone stayed controlled. "Each character has depth if you're paying attention," he replied, his eyes steady. "Oh, I pay attention," Joy fired back, her grin widening. "I just haven't seen any depth. Angry cop, angry soldier, angry boxer. At some point, Mark, you're just playing yourself," the audience murmured, torn between laughter and discomfort. Whoopi tried to interject, but Joy waved her off like swatting a fly. Mark straightened, meeting her gaze with calm steel. "If that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. But millions of people connect to those characters, and I think they disagree with you." That hit home. But Joy wasn't backing down. She smirked, air quoting with her fingers, "Ah, yes, the relatable everyman. Only this everyman owns mansions in Beverly Hills and wears 1,000 suits. How's that for relatable?" Mark allowed himself a small laugh, though his eyes betrayed irritation. "I haven't forgotten where I came from, Joy. Success doesn't mean abandoning your roots." But Joy's expression hardened, her voice slicing through the air. "Oh, please, you're as Hollywood as they come. You make millions pretending to struggle while real people actually do. You don't speak for working class people. You left that behind years ago." The room fell silent. Mark leaned forward, his accent creeping in as the temperature in the room rose. "That's a hell of an assumption. You don't know me. You don't know where I came from." His words had weight, each syllable sharp. Joy folded her arms, smirking. "Maybe not, but I know what I see. A man who cashed in his street cred for a paycheck and forgot what it means to fight for something." The tension was unbearable. Mark's fists tightened under the table, his voice low but firm. "You've got a lot to say about me, Joy, but it sounds more like you're talking about yourself." Gasps echoed across the audience. Joy flushed red, leaning in with fire in her eyes. "Oh, trust me, Mark. We'll get to me, but right now, we're talking about you, and I'm not done yet." Mark's eyes narrowed, the storm beneath the surface visible for the first time. He leaned back slightly, calm but dangerous. "Neither am I." The air crackled, the commercial break loomed, and everyone knew they were about to witness television history explode live. The lights came back up after the break, and the cameras zoomed in on Mark's face. His jaw was tight, his hands clasped, but his composure remained. Across from him, Joy Behar leaned forward with that smug gleam in her eyes, her expression dripping with defiance. The other co-hosts sat stiff, their smiles strained, their eyes darting nervously between the two like referees at a fight they couldn't control. Joy didn't hesitate. She lunged straight back into the fire. "So, Mark," she began, her voice sweet as sugar, but dripping with poison. "This new movie of yours. Let me guess, another angry Boston guy with a chip on his shoulder. Or did you branch out and play an angry Boston guy in a different hat?" The audience laughed nervously, torn between discomfort and entertainment. Mark tilted his head, smiling faintly, but his eyes betrayed no humor. "That's cute, Joy," he replied coolly. "But if you'd actually watch the film instead of just reading the press notes, you'd know it's about redemption, about a man trying to make things right." His words cut through the tension. But Joy wasn't backing off. "Ah, redemption," Joy mocked, clapping her hands together in exaggerated theater. "How fitting, since your entire career has been one long redemption tour trying to scrub away what you did before Hollywood bailed you out." The room went silent. The air shifted. The insult was brutal, raw, and calculated to pierce right through him. Mark's back stiffened, his eyes steady, his voice calm, yet edged with steel. "You want to talk about my past? Fine. I've made mistakes. I've owned them. I've worked my life to become better." His words rang clear, but Joy pounced, her voice sharp as a blade. "Own them or swept them under the rug while flashing that charming smile for the cameras. Looks to me like the same old Mark Wahlberg, just in a nicer suit." The audience gasped again, shifting uneasily in their seats. Mark's lips pressed into a thin line, his patience thinning by the second. "You really enjoy tearing people down, don't you?" he asked, his tone cutting but quiet. Joy leaned back with a smug grin, her voice rising. "I enjoy calling out hypocrisy when I see it. You pretend to be the champion of the little guy, but you're just another millionaire pretending to care." The crowd stirred again, torn down the middle, some nodding, some booing, the tension bubbling over. Mark tapped the arm of his chair once before folding his hands back into his lap, steady as ever. His voice, though low, carried across the room like a hammer. "You don't know me, Joy. You don't know what I do when the cameras aren't rolling. And you sure don't know what I care about." Joy pounced again, her Brooklyn edge slicing the air. "Oh, but I do. You care about box office numbers. You care about your image. You care about staying relevant by playing the same tired, tough guy again and again, too scared to risk anything real." Her voice was sharp, relentless, unforgiving. Mark let out a humorless laugh, shaking his head slowly. "You know what's funny, Joy? You sit here every day preaching about kindness and equality. But the second someone doesn't fit into your script, you tear them apart like they're trash. That's the hypocrisy. And everyone sees it." That landed. Even Whoopi's eyes widened, caught off guard by the strike. The audience gasped, applause breaking out unevenly, some cheering, some booing, but all locked in. Joy didn't flinch. She doubled down, her voice dripping with venom. "Better garbage than a fraud." Mark leaned forward slightly, his voice sharp, his eyes cold. "Is that what you think I am? A fraud? Because I've spent my life proving otherwise." His words came out like fire. Joy slammed her hand on the table, making the mugs rattle. "Proving otherwise, please. You've spent your life playing pretend for millions while real people actually fight for something. You're nothing but a Hollywood creation." The tension was unbearable. Now, Mark's fists curled white on the table as his voice cut through the silence. "Say what you want about me, but don't you dare disrespect the people who've supported me. The people you look down on every single day." The crowd erupted into applause at that. Some even standing, clapping, cheering his defiance. Joy's laugh was sharp, cruel, meant to wound. "Oh, don't flatter yourself, Mark. Nobody supports you. They support the idea of you because it's easier than admitting you're just another privileged man who got lucky." The words hit like bullets, cruel and unrelenting. The cameras zoomed in tight. Mark's face was calm, but his eyes burned with fury. His voice dropped low, deliberate, powerful. "You've got plenty of opinions about me, Joy. But here's the truth. You don't care about hearing anything real. You just want to win. That's all this is to you." Joy leaned in, her smirk razor sharp. "Oh, Mark, you don't get it. I already have." Her smugness filled the air, thick and suffocating. Mark leaned back, the faintest smirk creeping across his lips, dangerous and steady. You're wrong. This isn't over. The stage was no longer just a set. It was a battlefield, and the audience knew they weren't just watching daytime TV anymore. They were witnessing a war that neither side was willing to lose. The tension was unbearable as the cameras rolled on, the audience leaning forward in their seats as if they were watching a heavyweight fight. Mark sat still, his jawline tight, his voice steady but laced with fire. Joy sat across from him, arms folded, her smirk unshakable, daring him to crack under the weight of her relentless attack. "You know what your problem is, Mark," she said sharply, her Brooklyn accent slicing the air like a knife. "You've spent so long being told you're great that you actually believe it. You live in your own fantasy world where every movie you make is a masterpiece, and everyone who criticizes you is the enemy." The audience gasped and murmured, some nodding in agreement, others shaking their heads in disbelief. Mark tilted his head slightly, his lips curling into a faint, dangerous smile. "You know what your problem is, Joy. You've spent so long tearing other people down that you've forgotten how to actually stand for something yourself. You sit here every day throwing stones, pretending you're the voice of the people, but in reality, you're just a bully with a microphone." That landed hard. The audience roared, half cheering, half booing, the energy in the studio crackling like electricity. Joy's eyes narrowed, her nostrils flaring as she leaned in close. "A bully, please. You want to talk about bullies? Look in the mirror, Mark. Your whole career was built on intimidation, on pretending to be tough, on profiting off your so-called street roots while the real working class people you claim to represent got left behind." Mark's expression hardened, the Boston steel in his voice finally breaking through. "Don't you dare talk about where I came from. You wouldn't last a single day in the life I had before Hollywood. You sit up here on your perch, wagging your finger at everyone, but you've never walked in the shoes of the people you claim to speak for." His voice thundered, and the crowd erupted again, applause echoing through the studio. Joy smirked, her voice rising to meet his fury. "Oh, what are you going to do, Mark? Show me how tough you really are. Maybe throw a punch like the old days. Is that the only language you understand?" Her words were venom designed to provoke. Whoopi shifted in her chair, visibly uncomfortable, her hands clasping the table like she was bracing for impact. Mark leaned forward now, his palms flat against the table, his voice low but vibrating with power. "That's the difference between you and me, Joy. You think strength is shouting the loudest or humiliating the other person, but real strength is keeping your dignity when someone like you is trying to take it away. That's why people respect me and why fewer and fewer respect you." The audience gasped, then erupted into applause, some rising to their feet in cheers. Joy's smirk faltered for the first time, the mask cracking under the weight of his words. Her eyes flashed with rage as she spat back. "Respect? Don't kid yourself. The only respect you get is bought and paid for with box office numbers and PR spin. Strip that away and you're just another arrogant man with nothing left to offer." For a moment, the studio felt like it was holding its breath. Mark straightened slowly, adjusting his tie, his face calm, but his eyes burning with unshakable fury. Then he stood, the scrape of his chair echoing like thunder across the silent studio. The audience gasped, cameras zooming in tight as if they were afraid to miss even a flicker of what would happen next. Mark looked down at Joy, his voice clear, strong, and final. "You've shown everyone who you really are today. And so have I. This isn't about movies. This isn't about careers. This is about respect. And today, you lost it." His words hung in the air like a verdict. Joy, flustered but desperate not to lose control, snapped back. "Oh, walking away now. Typical. Run when things get too real." She laughed cruelly, but the edge of insecurity was clear in her voice. Mark turned to face the audience, his expression calm, his voice ringing across the studio like a bell. "No, Joy, I'm not running. I'm walking away with my self-respect. Something you can't take from me and something you clearly lost a long time ago." The studio exploded. Applause, shouts, even boos, the chaos echoing across the set. Joy sat frozen, her face red, her smirk gone, her eyes dark with humiliation. Whoopi finally leaned forward, her voice trembling. "We'll be right back after this." But it was too late. The damage was done. Mark walked off the stage slowly, deliberately, each step echoing like a hammer strike. The audience roared louder with every stride, some shouting his name, others booing Joy. Social media was already ablaze. Hashtags like Wahlberg walkout, Joy versus Mark, and the View meltdown flooding feeds within minutes. Clips of the exchange went viral instantly, dissected and debated by millions. Later that night, Mark posted a statement. "It's okay to disagree. It's okay to challenge, but it's never okay to humiliate. Everyone deserves respect, even when you don't see eye to eye." The post racked up millions of likes within hours. Celebrities chiming in to praise his composure and condemn Joy's cruelty. But Joy remained silent, her silence louder than any defense she could offer. Behind the scenes, reports swirled of angry producers, shaken co-hosts, and network executives scrambling to control the fallout. And so it ended, not with laughter, but with shock waves that ripped through Hollywood and beyond. A clash that was supposed to be about a movie turned into one of the most controversial live television moments of the decade. Mark Wahlberg didn't just survive, he walked away victorious while Joy Behar was left to sit in the rubble of her own arrogance. But here's the controversial truth. Some say Mark ended Joy's credibility that day, while others insist Joy exposed the truth about Hollywood's favorite tough guy. The debate rages on. The sides firmly drawn, and the scars from this battle will linger on both their legacies forever. What do you think about this explosive showdown? Did Mark Wahlberg walk away victorious, or did Joy Behar manage to expose him? Comment your thoughts down below. We want to hear your take on this fiery clash. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scandalous moment from the world of Hollywood and television.